That morning, instinct pushed me to the old bank on Maple Street. As I walked through the glass doors, I froze. There stood my daughter-in-law, Brianna, in a cream suit, talking to Mr. Jenkins, the branch manager. "She's no longer mentally competent," Brianna said clearly. "The doctor has confirmed it. I'm Marjorie Hale, 69, a widow for 7 years." In that moment, I realized Brianna was plotting to take everything Robert and I had built over 40 years. I slipped behind a divider, listening. "We need legal guardianship before there's financial risk," she continued, presenting papers with stamps and signatures. "Dr. Whitmore recommended it." I'd never seen any Dr. Whitmore. My heart pounded as the truth crystallized. This was fraud, and my own son Daniel must know. I stepped out, my heels clicked sharply on the tile. Brianna whipped around, her face pale, then forced a smile. "Mom, what are you doing here?" "I came to check my own accounts," I said calmly. "And you? You seem to be doing that for me." The lobby went heavy. Mr. Jenkins glanced between us nervously. "I was just making sure everything's safe," Brianna stammered. "I've never seen any Dr. Whitmore," I cut in firmly, "and I haven't authorized anyone to handle my finances." Mr. Jenkins handed me the documents. Within seconds, I spotted it. The signature was forged, missing the distinctive pull I'd used my entire life. "You forged my signature," I said, looking Brianna dead in the eye. "No, Mom, maybe a teller." "Don't call me Mom," I said, ice cold. "Someone trying to bury me alive doesn't get to call me that." The lobby fell silent. Mr. Jenkins looked down at the papers, then said sternly, "Mrs. Hale, we should pause this and verify everything." I turned to him. "Please freeze every account tied to my name. I'll provide proper identification today." Brianna mumbled something incoherent and hurried out. As the door closed behind her, I stood still, shaking not from fear, but from cold, steady anger. I knew everything had changed. This was only the beginning. Driving home, memories flooded back. I remembered when Daniel first brought Brianna home. She was in her early 20s, bright smile, confident. "This is the person I want to spend my life with," Daniel had said. After Robert died, the house felt empty. Brianna suggested they move in. "We want to take care of you, Mom." I believed her. At first, it was pleasant. She made breakfast, asked about my day, called me Mom sweetly. But then changes crept in. "Let me pay the electric bill, Mom. No risk of typing something wrong. Let me reorganize your financial papers. I can consolidate accounts." He encouraged it. "She studied finance. She's great at this." So I gave her the file cabinet key, then my banking passwords. She printed statements, left pink sticky notes, plumber $85, car insurance $140. I appreciated it, even told neighbors, "I'm so lucky." I didn't realize I was cutting the last thread to my autonomy. Then my mail stopped arriving. "They switched to electronic," Brianna explained. Doctor's appointments got rescheduled without my permission. A new bank card appeared, and Brianna kept it, so you don't lose it. One day at the bank, the teller mentioned a transfer I never made, $2,800 to Hale Consulting LLC. The signature was clumsy, not mine. When I showed Brianna, she smiled thinly. "Probably a bank error. I'll fix it." She slipped the paper from my hands. That night, looking at family photos, I finally understood. Not everyone who takes from you breaks in through the door. Some walk in with a smile and the word Mom. That night, I couldn't sleep. I walked to the wooden cabinet where Robert kept an old safe. Inside was a black USB drive, the key to everything we'd built. Investment certificates, hidden accounts, shares in our logistics company, all intact. I called Pauline, our attorney of 20 years. After hearing everything, she said, "Let them believe you're weak. The quieter you are, the more careless they'll be. We need time to gather proof." She sent authorization forms. I started archiving everything: emails, statements, recordings. I found Robert's old recorder and tested it. My voice came back clear and steady. I created a new folder on my laptop and named it Aurora. Robert used to say, "You shine brightest when cornered by darkness." That morning, Brianna stormed in. "What did you do? The bank suspended my access." Daniel came downstairs. "Mom, why didn't you tell us first?" Brianna burst into tears. "Your mom never trusted me. She thinks I'm a thief. If she doesn't hand over control, we lose everything. This house, your company, it's all in her name." I went to my study and checked the security cameras I'd secretly restored. On screen, Brianna sat with Daniel. "You have to make her sign the trust again. Once she loses signing authority, this house will be ours." I saved the video as evidence. My heart pounded not from shock, but certainty. The woman who called me Mom had just revealed her true intentions. That Sunday, I chose dinner to break the storm. The table was set as usual: beef stew, apple pie, soft lighting. When Daniel set down his knife, I spoke gently. "Before we start over, there's something you both need to hear." I took out my phone and pressed play. Brianna's voice filled the kitchen. "You have to make her sign the trust again. Once she loses signing authority, this house will be ours."
"Mom, I was joking," she laughed brittly. I played the second recording. "If you won't do it, I'll tell the lawyer she needs guardianship. Once the medical file goes in, she won't be able to fight." Silence. I pulled out a thick folder, the bank's verification. "Every document you filed, Brianna, fake medical forms, forged signatures, all confirmed as forgery." Daniel's hands shook as he read. "Oh God, is this real?" "Real," I said. "And if I hadn't gone to the bank, she would have succeeded." Brianna stood, voice catching. "I just wanted to help. You've been forgetting things." "You weren't scared of me being weak," I cut in. "You were scared I was still clear." The kitchen went silent except for the clock ticking. I looked at Daniel. "You once promised you wouldn't let anyone hurt me, but you sat still and watched it happen." He covered his face. "Mom, I'm sorry." I turned to Brianna. "I'm not crazy. I'm more awake than you think." I stood, gathering papers. "All of this is stored legally, one copy at my attorney's office, one in a secure drive. The truth knows how to speak for itself. I won't call the police tonight, but tomorrow I'll be with my attorney. I can't live with you two anymore." As I walked upstairs, Daniel called out, voice tight with tears, "Mom, I'm sorry." I stopped without turning. "I know. But sorry isn't an end. It's just the start of waking up." The morning of the trial, light rain fell. At Belmont County Courthouse, reporters gathered. The inheritance fraud case had drawn attention. Judge Eleanor Fitch struck the gavel. Pauline presented our evidence: recordings, videos, bank statements, all numbered and sealed. When the recordings played, Brianna's voice filled the courtroom. "Once she loses signing authority, this house will be ours." The judge leaned forward. "Is that your voice, Miss Hale?" Brianna trembled. "I don't remember. Maybe someone edited." "Forensic audio confirms no edits. 100% match." The judge interrupted. Pauline submitted verified documents showing forged signatures and fake medical records. Everything was airtight. The judge looked at Brianna sternly. "These actions are criminal. You forged documents, exploited an elderly person, and violated property rights." Brianna collapsed into sobs. Daniel stood. "Your Honor, I'm Mrs. Hale's son. I stayed silent too long. I knew my wife was wrong and didn't stop her. I accept responsibility and apologize to my mother." He bowed deeply. My heart twisted seeing my son broken, but justice had to be served. The judge struck the gavel 3 times. "All of Mrs. Hale's assets are restored, all transactions frozen. Brianna Hale is charged with forgery and financial abuse of an elder. Court adjourned." Relief washed over me. Something heavy I'd carried for months was finally set down. 2 weeks later, Daniel knocked on my door at the lakeside house I'd moved into. The the peaceful getaway Robert and I bought in the 80s. Mom, I was manipulated, he said, voice shaking. Brianna made me feel guilty, made me believe if I didn't take her side I was a bad husband. I didn't see I was losing you. I laid a hand on his shoulder. No one controls a person with a conscience, Daniel. They only use your silence. You let silence speak for you too long. I hope you'll let me be your son again. You've always been my son. Sometimes we walk through loss to see who's truly still there. I started over at 70. Every morning I wake before sunrise, roll out my yoga mat and breathe deep. I planted a garden, daisies, lavender, white roses. I tend them daily like old friends. My granddaughter Sophie visits every weekend. She's 12, eyes clear as the lake. Grandma, my hero, she calls me. One afternoon on the porch, she asked, "Why aren't you mad at Dad anymore?" Anger only wears you out, sweetheart. Some people aren't bad, they're weak. And sometimes the best thing we can do is refuse to be weak with them. Grandma, I'm scared people won't believe me like they didn't believe you. I squeezed her hand. You don't need everyone to believe you. You need to believe yourself. Never let anyone speak for you, Sophie. Once you let them decide who you are, you lose your own voice. A year after the trial, I stood on a stage beneath a plaque reading, Hail Foundation for Elder Justice, a nonprofit supporting older women who've suffered financial abuse. I spoke to the silver-haired audience. People think age is weakness. In truth, we're just watching in silence. When you've lived long enough, you learn when to keep quiet and when to speak. Applause rolled through the hall. Sophie stood beside me, her small hand in mine. Grandma, you're my hero, she whispered. No, sweetheart. Real heroes don't let others define them, and you'll be one of them. I watched the sun slip behind the river, feeling my heart light as paper. I had walked through betrayal, loss, and justice. Now there was only peace. I hadn't just reclaimed assets. I'd reclaimed my voice. And for women everywhere, justice and dignity don't have an expiration date. Don't let anyone speak for you. Your voice is the greatest power no one can take.